Morning, everyone. It's been an important week to focus on the people's priorities here in the House. We've continued our work for jobs in the economy by passing 3 bills to boost research, innovation, and American competitiveness. We also passed strong bipartisan legislation aimed at ending human trafficking. Our bill will expand services for the victims of these monstrous crimes and give law enforcement new tools to go after the perpetrators. I look forward to the President signing the bill. Next week brings Memorial Day and, coincidentally, the 1-year anniversary of General Shinseki's resignation as Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. But America's veterans are yet to see the reform that the President promised them. We know funding isn't the issue. Congress gave the VA more than $16 billion to improve care and to shorten waiting times. Meanwhile, the number of patients facing long waits is about the same, and the number of patients waiting more than 90 days has nearly doubled. The administration needs to offer a real long-term plan to fix the VA. On Iraq, it's been a week now since ISIL fighters stormed Ramadi, the capital of Iraq's largest province. Hundreds of innocent Iraqi men, women, and children have been executed. Dozens of U.S.-supplied tanks and military vehicles have been seized. The White House still insists that no new strategy is needed. It says the President's policies have been a success. It just isn't credible. Things need to change. A stable and sovereign Iraq is vital to America's interest. As I told the Iraqi Prime Minister when I was there before Easter, I was embarrassed that the Iraqis had to bring the Iranians in to help them with the fight in Tikrit. To win this fight, the President is going to have to scrap his policies that aren't working, lay out a broad, overarching strategy to defeat these savage terrorists. What could it look like? To start, instead of placing artificial constraints on our commanders, it's critical that we have a strategy that ensures that conditions on the ground dictate our approach. But I think security is just one piece of this overarching strategy. I think we need to better engage in a meaningful way with Islamic leaders to address the factors that are driving this radicalization. And we need a plan to combat ISIL's sophisticated use of social media and communications. It's a battle that we're losing right now. And any overarching strategy has to put a priority on backing, not ignoring, America's allies in the region. In the House, Republicans are committed to working with the President to ensure that our troops have what they need to carry out their vital missions. Sadly, Democrats continue to say they won't support a raise and pay for our troops until they get more domestic spending. So as we pause for Memorial Day to reflect on the great sacrifices made by those who wore the uniform, I hope they'll reconsider their position. After all, the American people sent us to Washington to focus on their priorities, not Washington's. And lastly, today is the last press conference that my press aide, Mr. Michael Steele, will join me at as he departs the Capitol after spending many years working in my office. I want to wish him, say thanks for a job well done and good luck.
Mr. Speaker, could you respond to the Hillary Clinton emails that have been released to the press so far? Did you see anything in those emails that troubled you or that you weren't aware of before?
I've not reviewed these emails. They're in the possession of the Benghazi Select Committee, and I'll let them look at them.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Cantwell is asking for a commitment that there will be a vote on XM in the House. Has she contacted you, and have you given her...
She has contacted me, and I told her I would not make that commitment.
Mr. Speaker, the White House has suggested it might be increasing support to Sunni troops and training new members of the Iraqi military in Iraq to help regain Ramadi and other areas. Is that enough to you to signal a new change in strategy? And if not, what else would you like to see?
That's what we've been doing. If you look at the troops that we have in Iraq, they're there for 2 reasons. to secure, frankly, our embassy and to train the Iraqi troops. And while we're training some troops, I think their hands are being tied because all they're allowed to do is train.
So McConnell did promise her a vote on XM, and you said you wouldn't hold the vote on XM.
I don't believe that to be the case.
Okay, well, something happened that indicated she would vote for the trade deal. But, I mean, it seems like you and McConnell are, with the Patriot Act and other issues, kind of working in parallel universes.
No.
That's not the case.
No, that's not the case. You know, I have my issues here in this chamber. He has his issues in his chamber. I've got 435 members who have their opinions, and he's got 100 members who have their opinions. Nothing new.
Could you explain the FISA, the difference in opinion on FISA and how that?
You know, I do think that there's a big disconnect in terms of how they view our bill. I've been surprised by it, but at the end of the day, we've got to work our way through this issue, and I'm confident at some point we will.
Can I follow up on that question? Because the Senate Republican leaders feel confident they'll defeat your bill, and they feel like they have a good shot at passing their straight extension. You're going to leave town while they sort this out. If that's all they send the House, will you pass it on June 1st?
The House has acted. It's time for the Senate to act. If they act, we'll certainly look at what they do and make a decision about how to proceed.
On XM, you have said you've not guaranteed a vote. We saw conservatives this week declaring victory that they thought the bill was dead, that it was going to allow the bank to expire. Do you think the bank will expire, or do you see there a path to maybe having some type of renewal with modification potentially?
You know, at this point, the only commitment I've made was to Chairman Hensarling that if the Senate sent a bill over, that there would be an open amendment process and the House would be allowed to work its will. That's the only commitment that's been made. There are a lot of options of what could happen. We'll just have to wait and see.
Have you had any time to review the Ginta matter in the last 48 hours?
No, I have not.
Today, the State Department is hosting the fourth round of conversations between Cuba and the U.S. Do you know if the Congress is moving to trying to block the President's decision to remove Cuba from the list of countries that sponsor terrorism? And do you think it's time to remove the embargo?
I do not think it's time to remove the embargo. And from what I've watched over the last 2 or 3 months, when it comes to Cuba, the administration keeps giving and giving and giving, but the Castro brothers are doing nothing. And when you look at their record of human rights violations, and you look at how they've run their economy into the ground, it's time for them to come forward. There are conversations in the House about what we can do to stop the president's actions. And I had a meeting this week with a group of members who are interested in stopping this progression toward normal relations with Cuba until such time as they begin to make serious changes in terms of the way they run their country.
On FISA, what's your understanding of what happens at the NSA and elsewhere if Congress doesn't come up with some kind of solution before the deadline?
Oh, I would refer you to the DOJ letter that came up yesterday.
What are your concerns?
The House has acted. Time for the Senate to act.